This is reality.
I just came across a video that said Connor Murphy.
You caught me crying when you were up and said accident before.
So they put you on. They put you
Yo, what's going on? Back with another one so soon, but never.
Everything good for y'all? Y'all need any refills or anything?
Unless I'm improved, because I want y'all to get this message. So we gonna cut the mic on. Uh-oh, got the likes already going. That's what's up. I appreciate that so much. Cause you know you gotta tap in with the real one. Yeah, man, we had to set that up real quick, but we here. And you know, we heartfelt, we a little upset. You know, you see the title and stuff. RIP the brother Nolan who lost his life, you know, over this past July 4th weekend. All of that stuff that was going on down in Mississippi. You know, it ain't pretty, man. He went out there with some friends. You know, they was fishing. Allegedly was a conflict. You know, they was getting into it. Had been under the influence, from what I'm understanding. You know, these are teenagers, but you know, it wouldn't be hard for them to get alcohol, especially if they rich and you know their parents have this stuff in the house. I mean, mine's did. So hide your stash there, guys and girls, because your kids will be drinking out of your dining cabinet, table, drawer, whatever you have at home. Trust me, they going in there and they getting off. And you probably don't even notice because, like my parents, they like to drink and they had so much. So, I mean, it would only be, I guess, expected, you know, but they wouldn't be able to tell at all. So that's what it is. You know, I was the plug in high school for drinking and, you know, just getting lit. And that was one of the things that, without even thinking, it was a no-brainer. I would, go up in there and fix my own stuff up. I would do mixes too, so that's really why I didn't get caught, because most people, normal people, I'm anything but that. Of course, you see, um, they would probably just get one brand. They would get Hennessy. They would probably get some Patron, whatever was there for their own personal use. But me, I was getting a little bit of any shot of the Patron, shot of the you get the story, the 1942, and I would be in the zone. And so that's where I'm coming from. That's where we're coming to with that, when it comes to that situation. But it's tragic, man. So nevertheless, Nolan, he's gone. He's been taken, from his family. They don't even know what happened. They calling for help. You know what I'm saying? They calling for people to give answers, because we all trying to figure out as well, like, how did this boy go with you guys in one piece, and he was perfectly fine, perfectly healthy, and now y'all come back and he's missing, and allegedly while he was missing, you guys didn't notice or bring attention. So that's even more suspicious. People are skeptical now and trying to figure out how this all happened. Like, we live in our truths, and we trying to bridge the gap, but also we see when stuff like this happens, we need people to be held accountable, and people who not standing with that behavior, understanding that this is no coincidence. This is obviously some type of target. There was some soft targeting or some type of setup that transpired to make the transition, for him to just go missing like that. Allegedly he was waiting for some women or a girlfriend. Like you see in the thumbnail, that's one of the scenarios people was running with and bringing up and saying, hey, well, he stayed behind because he wanted to hang out with some women, which was strange, because why didn't he just bring her with them wherever they were going? I mean, it just didn't seem like right. Something is not true there. Like, and I'm hoping that they have some type of footage or cameras to pinpoint, what exactly happened, because I wouldn't, call this a comeback. You know what I mean? It's more like uh shut down, from where we supposed to be at. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a level up, it's not a flex, and people are sitting up here acting like, you know, it's payback or it's retaliation for what we've seen, over these last few collisions and scenarios, that's been getting attention here. It's like, they try to suppress certain stories because they don't want people to know or be affected and move in a way that can be subtle, moving forward. So they try to make us feel comfortable. They're trying to rock us to sleep, and keep us from being bored, being our own, destruction. So that's what's going on when it comes to that, man. Let's see if we got some more visitors that want to come through and enjoy us for the moment, we trying to pour into the situation, trying to see if we got any information that has came out. Let's see here. See what they showing.
Y'all, if Nolan's family didn't believe there was still unanswered questions, they just hired Big Trump. And baby, you already know what that means. If you haven't been following this case, Nolan Xavier Wells went to Horn Island on the 4th of July with 3 white boys. There was reportedly an altercation between Nolan and the group. For whatever reason, Nolan never got back on the boat. The 3 boys returned to shore without Nolan. Unfortunately, yesterday, Nolan's body was found off the shore of Horn Island, and now people have noticed that every one of those boys, and even some of their parents, has reportedly wiped their social media. Ben Crump's law firm has now announced they'll conduct an independent review into the circumstances surrounding Nolan's death, saying they're looking for answers and transparency. Now, here's why people are still asking questions. The boys allegedly said Nolan didn't want to get back on the boat and that they last saw him on shore. They also claimed they couldn't find him after 3 p.m. But witnesses reportedly saw an argument around 5 p.m. and another photo reportedly shows all 3 boys in the water together, appearing to be having a good time. We also know through Katie's mother that Katie got back on the boat, but not with Nolan. She left with another friend. Authorities are saying it appears to be a drowning, but a whole lot of people believe there's still too mmany pieces that don't fit, y'all. If the official timeline makes perfect sense, then why does this family feel they need an independent investigation? Because somebody knows what happened that day. The question is, are they finally going to tell it? Y'all, if Nolan's family didn't believe there were still unanswered questions, they wouldn't have done this. They just hired Ben Crump, and baby, you already know what that means. If you haven't been following this case, Nolan Xavier Wells went to Horn Island on the 4th of July with 3 white boys. There was reportedly an altercation between Nolan and the group. For whatever reason, Nolan never got back on the boat. The 3 boys returned to shore without Nolan. Unfortunately, yesterday, Nolan's body was found off the shore of Horn Island. And now people have noticed that every one of those boys, and even some of their parents, has reportedly wiped their social media. Ben Crump's law firm has now announced they'll conduct an independent review into the circumstances surrounding Nolan's
So
death.
you see it there.
Y'all, if Nolan's family didn't believe,
The family just hired Ben
there
Crump.
was still
Because they saying it just doesn't make sense. How everything took place. Police said it seemed like it's a drowning, so there's definitely more information out there. I mean, why would these kids wipe their social media or scrub their social media?
Walking with, well, her name is Katie Montgomery. It's supposed to be the last person who was in contact with him. Well, he said that she is about to corroborate. Her family lawyered up, and then they released a statement saying that they will be cooperating with the police for sure, just to clear up her name. Now, Katie recounted her meetup with Nolan. Now, she said that they was together. Her parents had spun the block after they chilled with each other. You know what I'm saying? Then he supposed to have went back to the boat with his friends. And from her knowledge, before she had left that island with her parents, he was going back to the boat with his friends. Now let's put Nolan last appearance with his boys instead of her, right? That he just walked off with a whole female. Now in the video that's circulating, y'all, I really can't put a finger on it, but you can see and hear like there was an altercation going on. We got some people speculating saying that Nolan was screaming, "Give me back my fucking phone." And then you got some people saying, "You not get on this boat." But what made this shit so even crazier, y'all? Friends and the girlfriend, parents and everything. deactivated their pages before his body was even found. Who doing that? If you ain't suspicious, bitch. Not only that, you got one of these motherfuckers before they accounts was deactivated. They said, my parents is praying over us for some shit that we did that can probably land us in jail for 10 years. But he deleted it. Now this is one of the boys that was on the boat. Mind you, one of the boys' mom is a doctor and a judge. And I promise you, these was black boys doing this to a white boy. They would be locked up right now and questioned until all my life.
Trying to see if I can get that footage.
And everyone returns but my child, and there's not a clue as to where my child is. So later find out my child is gone. I'm not going to be alone crying. Your mom is putting all your stuff on a fucking t-shirt. Just so we're clear, if my child goes out with y'all, and everyone returns. I want to talk about the details that are. These are the exact situations we do not want to find our children in. This is exactly why it's so bad in this community. Did you see the look on this woman's face? She didn't want to be thrown into the pool. You could tell she was saying no. But who was surrounding her? These are the people that will not protect our children when they are out on boats. These are the people who won't protect our mothers while they're over there for a football slumber party. This is what we're talking about. This is a perfect example of what your children should never find themselves in. You should never find yourself being.
I think I just found it.
I want to get this video out real quick about 18-year-old Nolan Wells because too many people are feeling like it was 18-year-old Nolan Wells and or his friends that was involved in that arguing video that's going around that you can't even tell who was arguing.
So I have two different pictures I want to show you. The first one has ear. Now, as you can see, there's people both in the water and there's some people standing on the shore. I highlighted and circled who people are saying is Nolan, the yellow arrow and the yellow circle. And you can see people in the water, like looking out towards the shore, you know, like they're watching something, but then some are just acting completely normal. Now, here's this picture here, and as you can see, it's a closer up picture of who is supposed to be Nolan. I'm assuming it is. That's what people are saying. Now, you can see he's facing the direction of the camera, but people have their back turned towards him. It doesn't appear that in that moment he's in some type of heated argument. That's just my opinion and my speculation. Now, keep in mind, police have not even confirmed that this footage is even real, but it does appear to be authentic to me. But yeah, this video is now causing people to speculate that this alleged tense moment could somehow be connected to Nolan's disappearance. Authorities have also not said whether the people seen in that video are even connected to Nolan or not. I mean, I'd assume the people around him would somehow be connected to him, or at least know him since he was standing with them. So I have two different pictures I want to show you. The first one is here. Now, as you can see, there's people both in the.
So that's what's going on, man. That's what they hearing. That's what the streets is talking about right now. So You're just trying to compare it, trying to see what makes sense, what don't, and how we gonna fix this. They got to charge the people who's in charge. Simple, man. We want to see justice. You know what I mean? So whatever that looks like in today's time, let's make it simple instead of hard. Let's try to figure out solution. Because you see they hired Ben Crumb, so we really gonna get to the bottom of it. Those annoying stuff when it just goes in and out. I'm about to put a question in the poll so we can figure out, what y'all think. What are y'all own conclusions or verdicts from, the information in which is being promoted and being exploited.
Don't have to go that far either. Two teenagers, 17 and 19, were found deceased after being reported. This happened in Georgia, y'all, and no one discussing it. It's crazy as fuck to me how we can discuss what's happening on Love Island, we can discuss the World Cup, but y'all are not paying attention to what's happening around the fucking world. And yes, it's gonna happen to your people. It can happen in your hometown, bro. The Georgia authorities are investigating the deaths of 17-year-old Jaquavius Jones and 19-year-old Zakivion James, I hope I said his name correctly, who reported missing on June 30th before being found deceased, falling dead along a roadway. A small county of Preston, Georgia, right, y'all? Now, according to investigators, the two teenagers had last been seen together before the disappearance, prompting concern for family members and law enforcement. But their bodies were discovered in a rural area, and officials from Georgia Bureau of Investigation responded to assist local authorities with what has been classified as a double homicide investigation. Detectives are working to determine exactly what happened in the hours, y'all, that's leading towards their death, but they haven't found anything that's going on. They haven't talked about an autopsy has been reported. They haven't said anything. Not saying anything. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just don't understand, man, that this shit is. Two teenagers, y'all, 17 and 19, were found deceased alongside a road after being reported missing on June 30th. This happened in Georgia, y'all, and no one discussed it. It's crazy as fuck to me how we can discuss what's happening on Love Island. We can discuss the world. Two teenagers, y'all, 17 and 19, were found deceased alongside a road after being reported missing on June 30th. This happened in Georgia, y'all, and no one discussed it. It's crazy as fuck to me how we can discuss what's happening on Love Island. We can discuss the world. Two teenagers, y'all, 17 and 19, were found deceased alongside a road after being reported missing on June 30th. Consistency is back to back.
So, how did you figure out that Rollo slept with his girl?
Cause Rollo told me he really wanted me to know. He knew I was gonna tell that man. You see what I'm saying?
But why did Rollo tell you if y'all never even met before? So, how did you figure out that Rollo
slept with his girl.
Carallo told me he really wanted me to know. He knew I was gonna tell that man. You see what I'm saying?
But why did Rollo tell you? Y'all never even met before. Y'all don't really even know
Like
each
if
other,
it's
right?
so real, what am I?
So how did you figure out that Rollo slept with his girl?
Carallo told me he really wanted me to know. He knew I was gonna tell that man. You see what I'm saying?
But why did Rollo tell you if y'all never even met before? Y'all don't really even know
Like
each
if
other,
it's
right?
so real, what am I?
So how did you figure out that Rollo slept with
Ooh. 17 and 19 were probably.
So how did you figure?
About to get back to it. Yeah, keep moving. That way we can see how we gonna do it. Gonna tweak it. Keep it moving. Ah, yeah. Me too. I think I put that on the side. So yeah, about to go hit some arms stuff. Keep it light. Try to fix this. Get ready. I can make sure. To grab some of this water. Slow down a little bit. That's all right. We'll find a way to try to trick the servers. Get some more views in here. Found a good spot now. We can just appreciate y'all still rocking with me. Now I could put this phone on the charger. But we got this. Y'all ready? Ooh, get a good stretch out. Make sure y'all vote. Put that poll up there for you. But today's gonna be wrapped up for now, and we'll be back. So make sure that y'all stay safe. Make sure that y'all stay mindful of what's going on in the world and what you got to do to attract the right position, because that's what it's about. You want to put yourself in a predicament to get the most out. A lot of people is not gonna like it when you learn how to maneuver and do what you got to do by yourself, because you're an individual. You know what I'm saying? They need you to need help. They need you to not be able to get through and to keep pushing, because nobody else had that help, especially in today's economy when we see gas prices rising and everything costs as much as it does. It's just different, and we shouldn't skip over the fact the cost of living and everything that's going up. While we going down, it's not adding up. It's not equal. And this is the equality generation now that we live in. So you got to pretend, you got to do different things to be able to fit in and make you know the biggest bang for your buck, because your time is priceless. And if you treat it like it's worthless, then you'll never get enough. You'll never get what you came for. So trust and believe. I understand. I'm here. I see everything that's going on, man, and I want people to read in between the lines and stop feeding the monsters, stop feeding the rumors and the lies, because that's what they want to do. They want to try to turn people against each other, man. And we see what they doing, real live and real time, it's present. So we just stepping up and we using our brains, putting forth the message and the pain so that people can intercept it and they can pay, what they intellect, because that's what's going to be left when you remove everything else, all of the distractions, all of the fictitious, the rumors, the visuals that they just trying to display, and they trying to put those images in your mind. Once you able to climb those obstacles, you'll only be rewarded as time goes on. You know what I'm saying? You're only going to be able to be more important than you was when you was alone, because now you continue to grow. Now you got eyes on you. You know what I mean? So it's important to deliver. It's important to show the vulnerability and how to remember where you came from. You know what I mean? Don't be an enemy of the state like Will Smith. We gotta do big things out here, man. We continue to grow and we continue to live. We continue to shine. We continue to throw our mind out there. You know what I mean? Because we know it's like-minded people who want to do, who want to know how we push through every day and motivate. So you could only get there one day at a time, man. It's priceless. It's evident, but this is what you got to deal with in real time. You a king, man. And we gotta protect these children and these women out here who getting blind or who may not be having, the equal opportunity, and they getting, declined. They not being accepted, man. In real reality, the way that we supposed to be learned, and we getting left with the short end of the stick, man. We seeing real, alike. So, every life matter, all lives matter, man. That's what we, presenting, and that's what we want to get the message, to get people to understand we here, man. We all got a story, so you got to share your struggle, man. You got to be physically, mandatory, mentally able to put yourself in that regimen, in that routine, so you can see the glow, you can see the results, man. You can see that there's more to be and don't be content. You know what I mean? Be fearless in the way that you are evident. When we leave, you know, you want to make sure that you leave your mark because it's irrelevant. All of the things that, you know, people try to pull us apart and tear us down, but we just keep building, you know, around it. And we keep feeling it for what it is, man. So stick around. We be here. You will find me. You know, it's clear what I do and how I move. As I mature, you know, I only get better. I get the answers to the problems, you know, whether I like it or not. I just take it and I deal with it and I figure out, you know, how to put myself in a better spot. So, you know, if you can move like that, then I appreciate it. But if not, you know, I don't judge. You know, I just understand how we got to keep rocking. You know, keep it up, man. We locked in, fam. You already know. Stay up. One love. I'll be back.